60 minutes are on the clock. It is race 5 of Sprint Cup. We go racing, a really good getaway by Fabian Schiller, who tries to go for a gap that soon closes. Lucas Auer manages to box him off. Gounon will take the lead. Jewis goes second. Third is Auer. Fourth is Schiller. Max Hessler drops back way up the curve there. Look goes the Ferrari to try to gain ground as they turn their way now with Thomas Neubauer around the outside of Hesse. Out of turn 3, he goes wide. Hesse gets back up the inside. Dienst's on his toes as well. Big slide there further back. That looked like Bastien Buss's Porsche getting all crossed up, but a great start by Jules Gounon because he's edging away on the run up towards the Adelaide hairpin, and now hard on the brakes.
Is it going to be okay? Is it Constantina's up looking in the midfield? Everyone looks okay. Some cars going to the grass. It's the optimum car, isn't it? Oliviera having to take to the grass, but so far relatively small amounts of contact. Initially it was a great start from Schiller in that white and red Mercedes, and at the moment everyone keeping clean has gone. That gap's going to be 1.2, 1.3 seconds, I would say, by the end of this opening lap.
Bit of hip and shoulder, wasn't there, I think, which forced Neubauer off the circuit. The start's under investigation as the cars make their way through then. There's a possible fear about Luca Enschler's Lamborghini that has either got a transponder problem or it has got a problem, because it's being shown as being absolutely flat last as the cars now then come down towards the Complexe du Lycée for the first time. Gounon leading the way. Jewis second, leading bronze. Third is Auer. Fourth is Schiller. And then Neubauer is up into 5th place. You can see the way here they leap and bounce their way through the chicane, and that is just putting more and more stress and strain through the cars. Over the line they go. Gounon leads at the end of lap 1, and it's 1.251 seconds. You were just ever so slightly out. So the race leaders then work lap number 3, and it is still Gounon trying to get away. He's up to a 2.5 worth of an advantage, and in real terms he is 2.5 seconds ahead, because with due respect to Kieran Jewis, you sort of take him out of the overall fight because it's a Bronze Cup car, and as we made the point earlier, they have slower pit stops by regulation, so they're not going to be there at the end fighting for honours.
This will give some momentum to the BMW, but again, a hard corner to overtake coming into turn 9. This is getting close, and this is the frustration building on Hesse.
Nice move round the outside. Hesse goes through, rides the curb, but doesn't shortcut the racetrack. Neubauer tries to come back at him, heading now up towards Chateau d'Eau, but a curb hopping Hesse is ahead. But does he go a little bit wide? Yes, he does. The road opens up. Neubauer's going to have another go, and he's on the inside line all the way down the hill. It's going to be the last of the late breakers. It was a good opportunistic move by Hesse, but Neubauer is going to force the issue. He's back up the inside. He retakes the place, and up the inside also, look, comes Kobe Pavels. Beautifully done. 007 Aston Martin gains a place, and 1 up and 2 back for Hesse.
From way downtown as well from Kobe there. That was a late one. I think Hesse there potentially too proud of his move round the outside at turn 11, patting himself on the back, forgot to downshift into turn 13, and Neubauer mugged him back from an initial hero move. It was a bit 0 to 0 for Max Hesse.
Good stint, though, this by Kieran Jewis. He was very impressive last year in British GT, humbling on many an occasion Mercedes factory driver Maxi Goetz with his pace. And there he is, being able to run with Gounon and keeping Auer and Schiller at bay.
Yeah, he's running really well, isn't he? And quickly mentioned Dean McDonald being on the pace. He's just on the fastest lap, first sector of anyone. Sorry, so that McLaren is getting quicker and quicker as the temperatures drop.
Fastest lap of anybody in the race, Jules Gounon, perhaps no surprise because he's clearing the fresh air, as Hesse now tries a move on the outside of Kobe Pavels, and that doesn't work. Is there a hint of desperation in this now? He's sort of a bit embarrassed by that mistake, and he's trying everything to regroup.
Yeah, and he's going to try the move he did on Neubauer going round the outside. Rossi looks on, and this time Kobe Pavels blocks that attempt. He goes in a bit deep there, so potentially Hesse's going to be able to get the car over nicely to the exit of 13 to try and get the run, but cars starting to stack up behind this ComTu Aston Martin.
Yeah, and Gilles, the Belgian driver, currently in 11th place. That's the overall standings on the graphic, as you see Jules Gounon in that Red Bull liveried. Verstappen Racing, 2Cs operated, Mercedes AMG down towards the turn 15 right-hander, and this in super slow-mo is the line through the chicane, and he is absolutely flying, launches himself over the curb. How about that? It looks worse, looks more dramatic in a sense in super slow-mo, but that again shows you the huge stresses going through the car and the driver. Yeah,
I spoke to Al Fleming, the engineer for the 3 car. What was your curb strategy? And he tried to just say, I've got it under control. The drivers know what's allowed. If it wasn't so dark in the background, I would have assumed that was his qualifying lap. That's how max attack he was in the MaxVerstappen.com racing Mercedes.
Let's have a listen in to Jules Gounon's radio traffic. Race leader is on lap 12.
Jules, just for information, we're thinking we go long in this thing, maximum of 8 laps. Because if we stop when the window opens, we would come out in traffic, okay, just for information. I'll let you do it, mate, focus on the driving.
That seems like teamwork. You worry about the strategy, I'll worry about the driving.
Yeah, Al Fleming on the other end of the blower to going on. Just working out, right, if we box, we're probably going to lose 40 seconds. Where's that going to put us? And right now, that would put you right in the midfield of like 35th place. And remember, it's a split pit window. So for the first 5 minutes, from 25 to 30 minutes, all the pro and the gold cars can come in. And then 30 to 35, the next 5 minutes, is all the silver and gold cars. So it's going to, silver and bronze. So it's going to be a busy pit lane for 10 minutes, but they're just working that out. And normally we see the undercut. Everyone boxes as early as they can. Last year we saw opening stints of 13 and 14 laps, but adding 8 on to where they were, they're obviously going to look to do 17 to 18 laps with that number 3 car.
But although we're talking, and you just explained it, it's effectively a 10-minute window through the regulations. You've only got 5 minutes for your respective group, and it's going to be tomorrow the first pit stops for the silvers and the bronzes. So you've got fewer laps to play with here, as opposed to what you would have in a normal 10-minute window. So 5 minutes to stagger the pit lane, to make it a bit less congested, but it doesn't give you quite as many options.
It's really, really difficult, and a lot of drivers and teams now actually bringing simulators to the track to try and help that. And I was with Dean Fisher at McLaren this week talking about what the real world to sim sort of difference is these days, and it's getting smaller and smaller still. There's been a huge rate of improvement in the last decade, but still these sims are so important, and that can really help a driver get up to speed.
Arthur Leclerc will take over from Thomas Neubauer in that Ferrari you were briefly on board with a moment ago. Gounon is now 6.8 seconds ahead of Jewis and 7.8 seconds up the road from Lucas Auer as the drone chases then after the McLaren. Tom Fleming on the back of Mathis Leesmond. The drone tries to go around the outside. Great shot of the side of the cars. And you see Leesmond being able to defend nicely then as they come up now through the turn 8-9 sequence. The kink at 10. And then you've got that short run up towards another right-left flick, 11 and 12. And then up towards Chateau d'Eau at turn 13. There are your fastest drivers in each class. Overall, Jules Gounon, and he's quickest in pro. Alex Arca is the fastest man in gold. Mathis Leesmond, the fastest man in silver. And Kian Jewis, the fastest driver in bronze.
Just look at that average across the 4 classes, just to illustrate why Jules Gounon is so far ahead. Yes, that's class averages, but he is a second a lap faster than any other class fastest driver. That shows you why the gap at the lead is at 7.3 seconds.
Lucas Auer goes through as we are edging closer to the pit window. It opens now. So is there anybody at the back of the pack that's going to be brave and roll the dice? This is what a big lead looks like. 7 seconds plus for Jules Gounon over. Anybody? Well, there you've got Kian Jewis, the bronze leader, Auer behind him, Schiller behind him. But Jules Gounon has absolutely dominated this, and you've got to say it's going to take quite a lot now for 2Cs and or Danny Hungadea to lose this.
Yeah, I just worry for the 2Cs mechanics on that car. They'd just be thinking, don't mess up, don't mess up. And what do you do when you think don't mess up?
You mess up.
Exactly. Our first pitter was the 80 Lion Speed car, Marl Engel there, ready to go. Expect the pit lane to get very busy in the next lap.
Indeed so. There is 31 in from the back of the grid. So Amaury Cordeel gives way to Jordan Pepper. And WRT trying not to get cars stacking. There is Gounon. We're told by the team they are going to go long. And assuming that was a genuine radio message, not just to, if you like, throw the opposition off the scent, you can expect Gounon to do a few more laps. But what the team can't legislate for are others joining in after their pit stops and therefore giving him traffic that they weren't expecting. Away now goes Valentino Rossi, and is he going to be able to stay ahead of the Porsche? Just about. So there's going to be a big shuffle of the order, but it'll start to stabilise once you get the other side of the pit window. Has also 32 yet been in, or are they trying to leave Charles Weerts out long?
Gone long with him.
I think they have, haven't they? Yeah.
So just in the shot there, so they were lucky not to get stuck in the traffic that 2Cs were fearful of, but they had to roll the dice. They don't get the luxury of going long because they didn't have the pace that this man has in the number 3 car.
But you can't really go that long, can you? You've only got 5 minutes. You're lapping at 1 minute and 36, 37 seconds.
Yeah, you can do one more comfortably, safe by 30 seconds, so I expect them to roll the dice and go for one more.
So long being a relative concept in these short windows. There's number 21 then, which has fallen down, of course, after its earlier dramas, and you've got the best placed of those that have made pit stops. So we're looking at the Ferrari, looking at the Aston Martin. You've got the Arthur Leclerc Ferrari, and then it's going to be Nicky Team, isn't it, that's taken over number 7 Aston Martin. That's going to be a car to watch now.
Yeah, that's going to be seriously quick, trying to fight its way up the order, and we haven't seen the feistiest opportunities for Nicky Team so far this season, just lacking a bit of pace, it seemed, in that Com2 car.
Jules, we're going to box this lap, confirm, box. Whoops.
So that's Jules Gounon being told he's going to come into the pits this time. There is Gounon going really wide over the curb coming out of Chateau d'Eau. The unsafe release was Valentino Rossi just getting ahead of Robin Knudsen in that Boots and VDS Porsche. I think we did see it. It was close, but it's being looked at.
Yeah, I think it was okay. We saw it live. As long as the car in the fast lane doesn't have to deviate speed or direction, you'll get away with it, and I'm pretty sure that was okay, that one.
And look at this, totally clear pit lane for Jules Gounon. So everybody else has made their stops, and there's absolutely nothing to get in the way as Gounon comes down the pit lane. So now Danny Huncadea is ready, and the 2C's mechanics have just got to make this go like clockwork.
And interesting, their pit lane timing now is going to overlap with a lot of the bronze and silver cars, so that was the traffic they should avoid. As long as you're in pit lane before the pit window closes, you're okay, and they are A-okay. The pit lane will get busy, but behind them for them.
See the car still running those stickers in tribute to the late Mark van der Straten as the 2C's mechanics take the wheel off, put the new one on. And away goes Danny Huncadea. That looked good, and it'll be enough to keep the car in the lead of the race as back on track blasts then number 3, Danny Huncadea, now behind the wheel on a circuit that's getting just that little bit darker.
Yeah, our pit leader was Arthur Leclerc in that 50 Ferrari. He's going to be, I think, 14 to 15 seconds behind, and there is the gap at the apex of turn 1 as Huncadea is already making his way through turn 4.
If he's watching this from home, it must be bittersweet for Chris Lallam. It's his car dominating, but he's not here driving it, sadly. As you see, number 52 for our Gilles Stadsbader cycling through to give way to Jeff Machils now as the field there with number 3 Mercedes out of sequence at the moment, but it'll get that lead back. And no further investigation for that Valentino Rossi, Robin Knudsen release.
Yeah, it's coming alive, isn't it? We're just at the end of a traditional happy hour. Slightly too dark to be the happiest of times, but the track temp is coming down. Dawson, we saw leaving pit lane as the Audi gets past Pret there, who was trying to get past that Ferrari Zagazzetta only a lap ago. But Dawson had that purple light flashing. That indicates to other drivers it's the bronze-graded driver aboard the car. What's a bronze-graded driver? It's an amateur. They're a non-professional. They're the guy who brings the money for the car. This is a hobby for them, and we always make sure we don't talk down about them because what they're doing is incredible. The bronze-graded, this AM driver, is now within 1.5 seconds of a full factory pro. The level of the bronze driver is getting better and better year on year.
Danny Huncadea then, race leader. He has never had a Sprint Cup win, and Jules Gounon has, but no points rewarded because it was the rather contentious race in Barcelona. So although he and Maxi Goetz were the race winners, the race didn't score points. So well, the result sheet says he wins, but the points table said nobody scored points from the race. It was kind of annulled. You're on board here with Louis Press, and it's all got very busy ahead of him as there round the outside goes Dylan Pereira in the Audi.
Yeah, I think it's Alex Archer, isn't it, in the Audi now, and it's all concertinating up because it's Dawson in front in that bronze leading car. So this is Pret again. So you've got the Audi and the Ferrari, then Dawson still in front, and they've been stuck behind him for half a lap now. You've got 2 slow cars and bodywork on the side of the track too.
And a damaged car, I think, as well. One of the Ferraris looking a bit crab-like. Michel Blanchemin is in the 26 Santilloc Audi. There's a Ferrari that's damaged and another car. That's another Audi, isn't it? That's the Christopher Hasse Audi with a lot of front damage and steam and smoke coming out of it. That's part, and hopefully that's far enough out of harm's way that we don't need to neutralise the race.
I think it's going to have to be a full course.
Attention all teams, there will be full course yellow in 20 seconds.
Says Niels Vitic, the race director.
Took the words out of my mouth, and there's a huge amount of bodywork missing on the front of Ferrari. So as the Ferrari rear-ended
10 seconds.
Audi of Hasse would be my guess. That's down at turns 11 and 12. Hasse's almost all the way at 13.
4,
all cars need to be at 80k by the time we get to
1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
this point.
And the drone didn't seem to get the count from the race director. That was a bit late in slowing down. Well, forgive the drone, because it was sort of off the track at the time. So full course yellow called. Now we need to see whether this can be sorted out. We're under full course yellow. The race has just over 20 minutes still to go. And this might explain who did what to which and to whom. So, yeah, Michel Blanchemin got a bit sideways, got hit by a Ferrari, and then there was the sort of concertina effect. And I think Christopher Hauser had nowhere to go, just sort of piled into the back of the traffic. And that's where the bodywork came from and the damage to the front of the car came from. So this concertina effect look. Yeah, Michel Blanchemin gets hit really, really heavily by the Ferrari, and Hauser piles in, trying to see which Ferrari it was. I think it might have been the Felix Hersiger car, number 71, or 52, arguably. So 84 is out of the race and confirmed, yeah, 52. So Jeff Mackiels was the
race
Ferrari
control
driver
to all
that did a big
teams.
hit.
Please advise all drivers to stay to the far left at the exit of turn 12 because we have marshals on track on driver's right to collect debris. So please advise all drivers getting between turn 12 and 13 that the drivers need to stay on the far left because we have marshals on driver's right.
So no safety car. That is not what Thomas Neubaur nor Arthur Leclerc needed. We're going to go racing.
3, 2, 1. Green flag, green flag.
So we're back to green flag. I've got to say that surprises me a little bit, given that it felt like a long full course yellow. But Niels Wittich, the race director, is content in these temperatures. Look, you can see there Leclerc weaving around a little bit to get the tyre temperatures and pressures back up because they've been dropping. He's got team crawling all over the back of him, and this now takes some of the pressure off Honkadea because straight off Leclerc has to defend second place.
I'm telling you now, drivers were not ready to go back to green. They would have fully expected a safety car procedure. So they would have got that short notice and been panicked. They were like, I was ready for a safety car. I needed that time to get back up to speed. That wasn't afforded to them. So now they've got to turn these tyres back on. They've got to get the pressures back in. I think this could take a lap. The track temp has dropped to 27 degrees, ambient at 22. This could be a lively lap. Honkadea will be the happiest man alive. Him and Gounon yet to win a sprint race in GT World Challenge.
But 3.5 seconds between Honkadea and Leclerc, so the gap is less. And don't forget that although Leclerc had done the fastest lap of the race, now Nicky Thiem has it. So behind Honkadea, who's looking, as we've been saying, for that first Sprint Cup win, Jules Gounon looking for his first one to give him points, although he has had a win, as I explained. It is the second and third battle. If they can hustle each other along, they might get a bit closer to Honkadea. These are two quick cars.
Yeah, and at the moment it looks like the Ferrari is the quicker one. Nicky Thiem going incredibly deep there and then getting a face full of gravel. And sometimes as a driver you can strategically run wide and just try to unnerve your opponent. The cars are all designed to kind of take it, so long in the days where you can do that and put a hole in the radiator of the car behind. All the manufacturers design these cars to run faultlessly for 24 hours as the 31 car has been turned around there.
Yeah, that's Jordan Pepper, isn't it, at the wheel, taking over from Harry Cordeal. Not often Jordan spins on his own, so I think there's a little bit of help in all of that. Now, how is Arthur Leclerc getting on? We'll find out in a second. First of all, Jordan Pepper, was turned around by Gabriel Rindon, wasn't he, number 12? So Leclerc in the first sector a little bit quicker than Honkadea, and the gap 3.1 seconds. Leclerc is full steam ahead here with 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was contact there. I don't know. I thought Pepper was just on the dirty part of the track and it rotated on him. Of course, he's on the front foot. He had nothing to lose, so he will be giving it everything he can. But it'd be interesting to know if there was contact there or not. I think in front of him is a good 8 seconds up the road.
And just over 5 minutes of the race to go as Leclerc then pushes on. Nicky Thiem still in touch in third place, but it looks as though Honkadea has, to use your phrase, steadied the ship and he's now going to be able to consolidate that lead. There is Thomas Neubaur. Close, but not close enough. And in fact, Nicky Thiem is just slightly impeded, isn't he? Not deliberately, but just ever so slightly caught by the traffic coming down then towards turn 15. So the gap second to third widens fractionally. It was 2.4 between the top two last time, and on this lap it is up to 2.5. So yeah, Honkadea 2 laps in a row in which he's built the gap slightly. Yeah,
and it was Kerry Schreiner, I think, in the 88 car, the bronze-graded driver, getting out of the way well, not to impede them. It was actually traffic last year that changed our win, in my opinion, from the Rutronic Porsche, as we see a battle with a Porsche and a McLaren coming into the final break zone of the lap.
That's Ricardo Feller getting up on the inside then to go ahead of Louis Pret. Feller, in fact, has gained 2 places on that lap. So the Porsche getting a little bit stronger in this stint. Mikey Porter's McLaren is under investigation maybe for speeding in the pit lane, so that's being looked at, but normally that's bang to rights. And Honkadea has just done a personal best first sector.
Yeah, and he's definitely getting up to speed. Not just personal best, that's the car's best. That's quicker than any lap we saw from Jules Gounon as well. So he has got up to speed, and maybe he was just managing it ever so slightly on the restart. When the tyre pressures are low, you can pick up punctures as the tyre doesn't have the support and structure. So some teams try and get the driver to stay off the curbs. Maybe he knew he had the pace and he was just stroking it home.
We also have that Jordan Pepper, Gabriel Rindone incident under investigation as Honkadea comes then through now the turn 13 Chateau d'Eau out the other side, drop down the hill, kink at 14 down to the Complexe du Lycée, and 3 minutes and change on the clock right now. So it looks as though Honkadea and Jules Gounon are going to be winners in Sprint Cup, and for Danny, it'll be a first Sprint Cup win. For Jules, it's going to be, as we've been explaining, the first one that's going to generate some points after the points weren't awarded in that Barcelona race, where about 54 minutes were all done behind the safety car for assorted reasons. There is Robin Knudsen, and it looks as though a Gold Cup win is going to go his way and to Gilles Magnus. And right now he's fending off the Pro Cup entry out of the sister part of the garage, and that's Dorian Boccolacci at the wheel.
Yeah, probably will let the sister Porsche go because they both gain out of it in terms of no time lost for this car in shot, and then it's a position gained championship point-wise in the Pro class. They obviously score on overall, not their class.
So Honkadea leading in pro, Knudsen in gold, Montenegro in silver, Charles Dawson carrying on Cian Jewis's good work, reigning British GT champions in bronze. Mercedes 1-2. We haven't really touched on Peter Dempsey, who's taken over the Ziggo Sport Tempesta Porsche from Eddie Cheever. And Peter Dempsey, Walter Hayes Trophy winner, raced single-seaters in the UK and in the States, but then ran out of money. He's been brought back as a Quicksilver, and not only in WEC, but in this championship as well, proving his worth. So Peter Dempsey, new to Magny-Cours, going well for third in class. The race now under 2 minutes to go, and number 3 Mercedes, you've got to say, has dominated this. It has led all the way from pole. It's become much more dominant, does it?
Yeah, it's been really strong. Just put some numbers on Dempsey. His stint average only 0.4 a lap slower than our race leader Junkadea. So as a bronze graded driver, he is very shiny.
Very definitely. He was always a gun in single-seaters, wasn't he? He occasionally had his wild moments, but that was why he was always great to watch. And it's good to have Peter back racing. So here you're looking at Charles Dawson leading bronze. He's got Ricardo Feller crawling all over him in the Lion Speed GP Porsche that's had a really up and down sort of a season. Had a tough weekend at Misano. Certainly race 2 didn't go its way after a bad qualifying, and it hasn't really startled here either. We'll see what tomorrow can bring from a separate qualifying session earlier on in the day, different conditions, and of course a daylight race as well. It is getting darker and darker and darker here at Magny-Cours. That's Ignacio Montenegro, who's on target for a third win with Mathis Lismont in silver, as you look at Maro Engel launching himself up the curb. And there's your firework display after all. Yeah,
and doing a good job of getting these cars to the end. You've got to be fast, you've got to take risk, but feels strange hustling a €500,000-600,000 asset so aggressively, but that's what these cars are designed for, as Junkadea is pushing on hard. You can see the car really working the rear axle under braking into the final sector of this race.
So Jules Gounon then watching Danny Honkadea bring it home. It looks as though we're going to have an Aston Martin for the podium for the first time since the SRO Motorsport win back in, 2019, the Marvin Kirchhoff, Ricky Collard win. But Honkadea then is on his last lap. The clock is about to hit 0. And so for 2 Cs for Verstappen Racing, Jules Gounon and Danny Honkadea are going to be victorious here at Magny-Cours. They have absolutely dominated, not just the race, but the day. Gounon was unstoppable in qualifying. He led all of his stint. Honkadea has led all of his. The gap came down a little bit after that full course yellow. Checkered flag at the ready. Race 1 at Magny-Cours, won by Danny Honkadea and Jules Gounon in absolutely dominant fashion. And Jules Gounon is a very happy man indeed. He's had a tough time in the DTM and the WEC, but he's back at a happy place tonight. Victorious at a circuit that's very special to him. He had his first French Formula 4 wins here before he went off to do Carrera Cup France and then into GT racing. And Danny Honkadea as well, not putting a wheel wrong in that stint. Fastest lap of the race.
No, really don't, and it was easy in the end.
So race result, Jules Grunot and Danny Hunkeday are the winners, from Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc. Kirby Powells and Nicky Tim taking third ahead of Lucas Auer and Mario Engel. Then Dean McDonald and Marvin Kirchhofer, Max Hesse and Valentino Rossi in 6th. 7th, the championship leaders Charles Witz, Calvin van der Linde. 8th, the gold winning Gilles Magnus and Robin Knudsen. 15th, Mathis Lismar and Ignacio Montenegro. But ahead of them, 11th, Kian Jewis and Charles Dawson, and they won bronze. And you can see a long way down the order that there were drivers that had troubles and had delays. Jim Pla and Michel Blanchemin dropped a long way back after they were involved in that incident. They were 38th, and we had 4 retirements. The Rutronic Lamborghini, Optimum's McLaren, one of the fleet today, of course, the Ferraris, and of course the Simon Riker, Christopher Hauser Audi. Right, Ganellas caught up with Charles Dawson and Kian Jewis. They win in bronze. So Saulnier, who you might recall under a different guise as the man behind the Prometechme Formula 3 team, which had a UK operation that Chris Weller ran with him. So Saulnier, vastly experienced team owner, and now running the circuit. I seem to remember Prometechme based here as a team. There are the trophies for second place crew. And then for Verstappen Racing, the winners' trophy. And then the drivers' trophies as well. An important result that for 2Cs as well. It's all very well winning domestic championships, but to come along and take on the likes of Get Speed and particularly Winward and beat them, that shows you've arrived.
Yeah, it's a massive scalp. We're in that inter-team battle. Yeah. We look at the manufacturers as one big happy family, but the one you want to beat is the other Mercedes team, and that's what 2Cs are doing more and more consistently now.
Yeah, we talk about that battle in endurance, don't we? The BMWs of Rover versus WRT. So it's the same in terms of Mercedes AMG. There, the drivers now all get together on the podium for that group photograph. And the Verstappen Racing team that operates under the Dutch licence. The drivers celebrate. Danny Hunkeday last with the cork, but entered into the spirit of this. Race winners, Jules Grunot and Danny Hunkeday. But yet again, Mario Engel and Lucas Auer, okay, not on the podium, but 4th. Another ka-ching as far as points are concerned, keeping them in the mix.
Yeah, they've got the most metronomic style, haven't they, of just collecting points. Even when it's not 100% their way, they're getting a good haul.